What's cracking, YouTube? Forgive the shakiness of the camera. I'm using a different cell phone mount today, but it's the return of a different point of view. So, I've seen a couple different videos about the, what is it, the class action lawsuit against Swift, where Swift has, what is it, they settled for $100 million. Now, what this is about is drivers being misclassified as independent owner-operators, or independent contractors. Now, there's some confusion here, because we brought up the information, and now if I'm understanding this right from what Miss Jackrabbit told me, it's not so much about being misclassified as it is about miles, drivers not being paid properly for miles, right? She's looking that up here. She's bringing it back up. She actually found the information on the lawsuit from the law firm's website that is conducting this class action lawsuit. Now, the Wright brother, TRB, much love to you, homie. Swifty to Swifty, that's what's up, dude. And the Dread Pirate Trucker, who is also an ex-Swifty. Now, they're saying that you have to have been a lease operator to qualify for this, and some other information. Now, okay. Now there was some being thrown out there.
There is another lawsuit from the owner-operators. There's 2 lawsuits.
Okay, so the lawsuit, there's 2 lawsuits right now. One from the lease operators and owner-operators, and then one from the company drivers. Now, I think that TRB and Dread Pirate have their lines a little bit crossed on their information. Now, the lease operators and the owner operators,
It's according to actually track how many miles a driver's traveled, but how many miles were between their pickup and drop-off points.
okay, now it's essentially it's over improper tracking of mileage.
Because they would calculate the shortest route.
Because they would calculate the shortest route.
Even non-truck routes.
Even non-truck routes. Now, here's the thing, guys. When you use Google, any driver knows, you got to be careful using Google Maps. And I know personally, because I have seen this done. I have seen this done on one of the Walmart accounts that I ran for. They like to use Google Maps. Now, they claim they calculate zip code to zip code. Garbage. That's lie number 1. Now, don't get me wrong. I've got a lot of love for Swift. I drove for him for 13 months on my, I drove for him for my contract. I got my license through Swift. Swift took really good care of me. And they also took really good care of me getting home to my grandmother when she needed me. When I needed to get to my mom's house while my dad was sick, they made sure I got there. I've got a lot of love for Swift. But there's some dirtiness going on here. Such as mileage. They don't care if it's a truck route or not. they're going to go onto Google Maps and they're going to calculate the shortest route available. Whether it's a truck route or not a truck route, they don't care. They don't use the same navigation service that they use on their Qualcomms. They don't use Omnitrax. They don't use the company that I drive for currently. They use Copilot, where they calculate this stupid thing, where they calculate truck route mileage. Swift uses Google Maps. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move you guys around a little bit here. Oh yeah, there we go. Much stronger magnet. Okay. So, you know, right there, you're not getting paid what you should be getting paid. You're getting paid for the shortest, cheapest route they can manufacture. That's mistake number one. So, like when I left Swift, I was making, on short haul, I was making 52 cents a mile, 46 cents empty. Now that's, what, 300 miles or less. 48 cents for medium, and 46 cents long. Now, I was doing some number crunching one day, and I realized something. Of course, I didn't really care, you know, whatever. I'm doing my job, I'm getting good paychecks, but either way, I'm Jewish, but I'm not that Jewish. I was noticing 50 to 70 mile discrepancies. I kid you not, guys. 50 to 70 mile discrepancies. That's a lot of miles, folks. At, let's say, 46 cents a mile. Daggum, man. That's what, 20, 30 bucks? More than that, but either way, you know what I'm saying. You know, that's valuable money. That's valuable income. Every dollar counts, especially when you got a family. And I know some Swift drivers that are, you know, they're hurting. They've got families. They got to support them. So, and Dread Pirate started talking about a minimum wage. Now, supposedly, if you're a company driver, oh, for the owner-operators and lease operators.
No.
What?
For five owner-ops are going into Swift.
Supposedly 5 owner-ops, and actually they're most likely lease operators. Owner-operators, wow, they own their own trucks, and wow, and they're doing this. Okay, supposedly 5 owner-operators, count them, 5 individuals who own their trucks, so they know business, are going after Swift for minimum wage. Dude, if you were an owner-operator, you were contracted onto Swift as a independent contractor. They are leasing your services and your truck to run their freight. You are an independent contractor, you friggin' idiot. You are not entitled to minimum wage. Just like you are not entitled to health benefits, disability, and all kinds of other benefits that companies company drivers are entitled to. Now, here's the thing. One of the oldest and still ongoing issues is cents per mile pay. Now, don't get me wrong. My last paycheck was what? After taxes and a couple of advances was $1,054. All right, I made $1,000 friggin' dollars on my paycheck. Making 40 cents loaded and 40 cents empty. And I'm a company driver, guys. My biggest paycheck, just a straight up paycheck, was what, $1,500. I can tell you this right now. We looked, in fact, TRB, the Wright brother, he looked up what the federal minimum wage is on his video. What about it? Oh. So check this out. The federal minimum wage, courtesy of TRB's research, is what, $7.25, $7.50 an hour? So let's go ahead and say $7.50 an hour. Federal minimum wage. So you're getting paid federal minimum wage while you're away from home. Doing a 34, doing your 10 down, on duty, all that shit. All right, check this out. If they were to require trucking companies to pay you at least federal minimum wage, guess what? For 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that you're away from home, you're going to make, at $7.50 an hour, $180 a day. Now, to a lot of people, that sounds pretty good. But think about it, man. You can make that much. I make $260 a day, averaging out at 40 cents per mile, running an average of 65 miles an hour. Now, I have a 70-mile-an-hour truck, so that's not hard for me to do. I run 10 hours out of the day at an average of 65 miles an hour. Guess what? That's $28 an hour that I'm getting. And I'm making almost twice, well, now about close to 50% more than I would be at the federal minimum wage. You're only getting $63,000 and some change a year working at federal minimum wage. So guess what, folks? That's if you never go home. If you don't go home and you stay out on the road 24/7, you're going to make $63,000 and some change every year before taxes. That's gross. That's $1,230 a week, gross. Guess what? You're only going to keep maybe $1,000 of that. Now, my last paycheck being $1,000, that was on a slow week. That's a lazy week. That's a two-load week. Now, a lot of you guys are probably sitting back saying, but Jackrabbit, maybe you're getting better miles than these guys. No, I'm not. I am not getting better miles. Not really. My miles are probably about the same, if not a little bit less than your average Swiftie. I'm getting less per mile than I was at Swift. I'm getting less miles. You know where my money comes from? Layover, detention. That's where my money comes from, because I run reefer. moral of the story, folks. You don't need to get paid federal minimum wage, because I'll tell you one thing right now: if they start paying truckers federal minimum wage for every hour spent away from home, they better raise the minimum wage, guys. They better raise the federal minimum wage, or they better create a special bracket for truckers. Ain't no driver wants to live on that $180 a day. When I'm working 40 cents a mile, putting down the miles, making quite a bit more. And the thing is you can make, let's see here, when I was working over at Swift, I was making, in a 65 mile an hour governed truck, I was making $220 a day, was my daily average. Think about that. Doing OTR. Scoot on over here in front of this Peterbilt right quick. You know, it does my heart good to see more female drivers out here on the road.
It's still flash back there?
It does my heart good to see more female drivers out there on the road. But no, think about that, guys. Just for 1 second, think about that. Federal minimum wage is a bad idea, because trucking companies are going to look at that. They're going to look at what their drivers are averaging, and they're going to sit back and say, screw it. Here's another avenue for us to screw the drivers over even more. And there ain't a dang thing they can do about it. You know, Dread Pirate used the phrase cents per mile. It's the biggest scam. No, it's not. It's not a big scam. Dread Pirate is using cents per mile like it's a bad thing. I got, what, 5-6 raises when I was working at Swift over 13 months? Now you guys are asking me, well, why did you leave Swift? Well, because Swift was a stepping stone. Swift is a great starter company. I don't care what anybody says. I don't know. Anybody that wants to sit out there and talk trash about Swift as a company needs to shut their mouth. Because it's not the company. It's the drivers. You look at every driver, every major company out there that trains and schools drivers. They've all got a high accident rate. But you know what? You know the reason why none of them have a higher accident number than Swift? Because Swift is bigger. Swift has what, 30-some thousand drivers? And they're pumping more out every day from the academy?
So is there England?
CR England's got the trashiest drivers out of them all. I kid you not. I've had CR England damn near rip my front end off.
Except for that one guy down there. That one 2 million mile driver.
Now, I've seen some good drivers from CR England. I saw a 2 million mile safe mile driver from CR England. And he handled that truck like a boss. He even saved us a spot. Saved us a spot out in LA. He came back, bobtailed in to grab his trailer at the Petro. And he held on to it until we came back around and was in position to be able to back into that hole as soon as he pulled out. That was a good, decent man. And he handled that truck like a boss. No, I'm not talking about the old guys, the older guys that have been around for quite a few years. I'm talking about the new drivers that CR England is putting out. CR England is rated as having one of the trashiest training programs in the industry. And that's no joke. Look it up, folks. They have one of the crappiest training programs in the industry right now. Schneider has the best. Go figure on that one. Schneider's got the best training program in the industry right now. Out of the mega carriers. Stupid bastard. I don't know what the heck that idiot's doing, but he's doing something on his cell phone.
He's doing this.
I don't know what the heck he's doing, but he needs to get his head out of his backside and cake his butt back to Canada. Now, I don't hate on Canadian drivers. I've seen some good Canadian drivers. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite trucking channels on YouTube is that of Canada. And this old boy, he's got his finger on the pulse of the industry. This guy, he is legitimately interested in the welfare of truckers. Now, I can't think of the name of the channel right now. Oh, Smart Trucking. That's the name of the channel, Smart Trucking. He's an old boy, good old boy. He from Canada. I think he's from Alberta, actually. And he's been around for a lot of years, from way back in the outlaw days. And he still drives. He drives local now. But he is one of the few trucking channels that's actually interested in the welfare of the industry and the drivers. Now, do I believe that the industry should pay drivers an hourly wage? Heck yes. Yes, I do. At the very least, pay us federal minimum wage while we are on our 10-hour down and while we're doing a 34 on the road. Off-duty hours should be paid federal minimum wage. That doesn't mean do away with the cents per mile, because I'm doing just fine on cents per mile. Do I own a house? No. Do I own a car? No. I spend more time in my truck than I do out of it. Miss Jackrabbit can tell you that. We don't like coming out of the truck very much. But, TRB, I say this to you, brother, with the utmost love and respect, because I've been following your channel ever since I started at Swift Academy. And before I started at Swift Academy, actually, when I was looking around for schools to go to get my CDL. And you were the biggest driving point behind me actually going to Swift, brother. You know, and I thank you for that. I think that Swift was the best way in for me. Is it the best way for everybody? Heck no. Not everybody. Dread Pirate. And forgive me, everybody, because this is about to take an explicit turn right now. Get your head out of your ass. That's the extent of the explicit. Get your head back on. Because that is stupid. Federal minimum wage for all out? No. No, dude. No. Because you're raping yourself financially if you accept that. It's bad enough that that driver rates, that cents per mile, hasn't gone up at all in the last 40 freaking years. Do your research, man. Crunch your numbers. But of course, you look like some sort of you are toothless. So, I mean, you must be some sort of hillbilly out from the holler who's uneducated and don't know how to do math. Break out a calculator, son. Most drivers can't live and support a family on federal minimum wage. And take home time. That's not intelligent, dude. Think. That's all. Think. Now, as far as Dread Pirate goes, I've never been a big fan of Dread Pirate. But he has put some valuable information on his channel. He has talked about some legitimate subjects. I don't hate on Dread Pirate. He's a driver and and a YouTuber. And who am I to hate on somebody who's got a larger following than I do? But bro, come on, man. I know I've only got 11 subscribers. My view counts aren't that high. Blah, 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 blah. But bro, come on, man. If you are a somewhat educated man, break out the calculator and crunch the numbers. Because TRB said it himself. $7 and, $7.25, $7.50 an hour is the federal minimum wage.
Okay, this is the thing though. He's not even an OTR driver. He's a day cab driver.
Yeah, he's a local driver now.
That's what I'm saying.
He used to be OTR. In fact, he was owner-operator at one point.
Like I'm saying, though.
But here's where I am going to smash. Here's where I'm going to smash a little bit more on Dread Pirate. Dread Pirate got himself fired from several companies. He got himself fired from Swift before the Night Merger, during the Anarchy days. I came into Swift at the end of the Anarchy days. And I'll tell you, dude, during the anarchist times, oh my God, we got away with some crap. We got away with a lot. It was outlaw trucking at its best with the special ed class. It was short bus outlaw trucking. That's what Swift was. It's not outlaw so much anymore now that safety stepped it up from what I've heard. Thank you, Kevin Knight. You trying to do your job? You trying to do good, cleaning up the company?
Oh my gosh, he even recommended CFI.
Are you kidding me?
To get your, right there, to get your CDL training, CFI. What? No, CFI.
Wow. So, Dread, come on, brother. Start thinking. The only reason why you went day cab, went local, was because you couldn't cut it on the OTR. We all know it. When you were running OTR, all you did was bitch and complain. Moan, 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 whine, cry.
Honestly, he shouldn't be in a truck if he did that. If you can't handle doing OTR, you can't handle doing day cab. That's how
No, day cab is cushy.
I don't say
Day
that.
cab is the cushy job. You get to go home at the end of every day. You don't have to sleep inside the truck.
Like I'm saying.
Pansy.
Like I'm saying, if you can't handle being OTR, being in the truck, you shouldn't be doing day cab. If you can't handle being OTR, you can't be handling doing day cab.
If all you want to do is whine, cry, and complain, dude,
Get the hell off the road.
get the hell off the road.
Completely.
Now, like I said, though, he's had some decent subject matter. Some relevant subject matter. But vast majority of it's garbage.
Yep.
And if you don't believe me, go check out his page. Go check him out. You may like him, you may find him entertaining, and you may come back and say, Jackrabbit, you're full of it. Blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what, man? I've crunched the numbers. I've done the research. He's an idiot. He has no idea what he's talking about. And TRB, look, bro, I get it. We're all like, all three of us are ex-Swifties. Blah, blah, blah. But dive just a little bit deeper next time, man. You weren't too far off, but you were still off. Much respect to you, though. You're doing a lot more than I am at this point. You were doing a lot more at my point than I am right now. So, anyways, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is really long, 32 minutes. Wow. Thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, I guess. Hit the little bell so it goes ring-a-ding-ding every time I post something new. Because you'll never know when I'm going to go off on some interesting rant or just make myself look like a jackass. I don't think that's too explicit. But God bless you guys. I love you guys. And remember, keep on trucking, man.